Yeah? Okay, I'm going to show how I make Venetian plaster from scratch. So this is 50% solid. It's an acrylic resin sealer, and this is used in Ecuador here for many applications. Most countries in the world will have something very similar to this. So what I do, you can see it's quite thick. Now I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, but this material, if you look here, it has a blue tinge. So this material has a very strong blue tinge to it. Make sure there's no garbage in it. Then what I do is I take, this is white Portland. This can be floor grout, it can be anything that is in powder form. You can experiment with almost any type of dry material that has some type of a color to it or a consistency to it. I like the white Portland cement and the tinge, the blue tinge of that sealer. The two of them together create almost like a greenish bluish color, like a marble effect. So now what you do is you mix the two of them together. Always be a bit dry on this, meaning that you can always add more resin to it and without making it too wet. So as you can see, it turns into a really strong gluey mix, and I think now you can see the blue color that's coming through, bluish green tinge. So what I do is I chew it up as best as I can. Make sure you have no powder around. Get everything mixed up. For example, here I have some white stuff left, so I'm going to get it off the trowel. And I like to use the face of the trowel to chew it up, so it's actually got no lumps or bumps or anything like that. So you cannot pre-mix this because there's a chemical reaction between the lime, the lime and the cement and this material. If you mix this up and put it back in the pail, it'll go hard overnight. There's no way to save this stuff. So what I do now is I grab a bigger trowel and I put it on here. Now I'm going to put it on the wall. Okay, stop. Okay, so this has already got first coat on it. So what I do now is I come back. I have the material on. It's like oatmeal. And I just basically work it in. And some areas you leave a little bit, I don't know how to describe it. It just has a different finish in some areas. So the secret to this is you don't want to leave this at all lumpy, because the next person that has to go paint this is going to have a mess. You have to have this perfectly smooth by the time you're done, so the next person can paint without any issue. So you basically do your entire wall like this, left, right. And then what happens is when this starts to dry, it releases like really beautiful colors that look like marble. What I do is I go with the trowel right to the edge here. When I go right to the edge, I have to basically pull it down. And that way the finish goes right up to the edge of the painted ceiling, so there's no problem. Don't need masking tape, anything. I don't know if you can see in the camera the green that's starting, the marble-ish color that's starting here. So now what I do, when I've got it applied, I start putting some heat on it, some burnishing. So right here I don't have any material, which could stay like that, but I'd like to cover it a bit more. So I'm going to come back, pull this through. And that's basically how you do it. If you look right here, this is sort of the finished product. You put your hand over it, it is paper smooth, so there's no problem with the next guy painting this wall. But it has a three-dimensional look without without having the bumps and lumps that a lot of finishes have. This is perfectly smooth. There's nothing there, it's just the look that's there. And that's how I use this glue and dry materials to make Venetian plaster. Yeah. So once I put everything on, I have like a sanding block, and the main two purposes for this is to get it perfectly flat, that if somebody wants to paint it again, it's perfectly flat. And the second thing is I'll have like more material here and less here where the white comes through. So what I want to do is basically just sand it down. And that makes it perfectly smooth. You can look a lot nicer. And that's how you do it. Okay.